Alright. How many of you have felt that feeling of dread when it's time to fill up the gas tank? I know I have, and with good reason. The price is always changing, and it's rarely going downwards. According to the Department of Energy, in 2008, crude oil prices were around $104 a barrel. Later that month, they rose to $120 per barrel. And then finally, in May of that year, according to MarketWatch.com, gas prices rose to an unprecedented $147 per barrel. This jump in crude oil alone over these 2 months caused the national average of gas prices to go from $2.50 to nearly $3.50, and in some places over $4. But where does this gas price come from, and why does it fluctuate so much? I found out it's not just a simple matter of a set supply or price. There are many factors that go into the gas price we see at the pump. To simplify these factors, we're going to start at the market where our crude oil comes from. Then we're going to look at factors that occur after the market. And then lastly, we're going to look at a few extra factors that are added on right as it reaches our pump. One of the biggest factors in the development of our gas prices is the market. It works in basic supply and demand. And the problem is the supply is determined by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, otherwise known as OPEC. OPEC consists of 13 countries, and it does not include the United States. According to the Energy Information Agency, these 13 countries own 40% of our world's oil supply and most of its reserves. To control the gas price, all these countries need to do is decrease their production to make the crude oil less available, and then they can drive the price up. However, these are not the only producers of oil. The United States, Mexico, Canada, China, and Russia also do some production. But the problem is OPEC tracks the production of these countries and carefully and adjusts their own prices, their own production to see the prices they want. Currently, we're paying about 65 cents at the pump for crude oil. Now that we've looked at the market and where our gas comes from, let's look at what happens when it's purchased by companies off the market. It is shipped over by the purchasing company, refined, taxed, and additional fees are placed on it. All of these things cost, and the cost reflects at the pump. The refining process can be complicated, but thanks to howitworks.com, I took a slight crash course in refining. I learned that there are actually different types of crude oil, and then the types matter. Oil can be sweet, sour, light, and heavy. Sweet and light are the best sources because they're the easiest to refine and therefore cost the least. Currently, we pay about 13 cents or more for sweet and light sources at the pump. Distribution and marketing also plays a part. After the crude oil is refined, it has to be taken to the distributors and also has to be advertised through the company. The marketing and distribution cost varies a lot depending on the company. Companies like BP, Exxon, it really depends on what company you buy it from, but it can cost up to 20 cents or more just for distribution and marketing. And let's not forget taxes. There's taxes on everything that we buy in the United States. And the taxes you experience at the pump can depend on where you're buying it from. There are federal and state taxes, and they pay for inspection fees and environmental fees. When you fill up at the pump, the national average, you're paying about 28 cents in taxes alone. But I discovered that here in Georgia, that with federal and state taxes combined, you're paying about 22 cents on the gallon. Finally, we arrive at station markups. This is where the store owners earn their share. There's no set price on how much a store owner can mark up the price of gasoline. Some only charge a few cents, while others can charge up to a dime or more. We followed the price from the market, and we've seen what happens after it's purchased off the market. Now we're going to look at two final factors that affect our gas prices before we buy it. And those factors are environmental controls and world events. Some states have passed laws through the state legislatures that require clean burning fuels at every pump. Cleaner burning fuels that are required by these need a lot of attention. They're only purchased at special refineries. They need special distribution mechanisms, and they have special storage, all of which cost money and make the cost go up. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, this is why California tends to see higher gas prices on average. In 1996, their state legislature passed a law requiring cleaner fuels at every pump, and their residents feel the effect. The cost, of course, varies by state, and here in Georgia we have no laws that require cleaner burning fuels at the pump, but in some areas they do require you to have an emissions check. The last thing we're going to look at is world events. The gas market works on speculation of what could happen tomorrow. Negative political, social, and environmental occurrences that could cut off supply or do cut off supply have a massive effect on the market and therefore have an effect on the price. Prices are often adjusted in just simple anticipation of occurrence that could happen. Hurricane Katrina is a good example of this. Using a Bureau of Labor chart, I found that in 2007, gas prices averaged around $2.32 for the whole year. In 2008, they jumped to nearly $3.50. This is also the year that Katrina hit the Gulf Coast and we weren't able to pump as much gasoline, crude oil out of that area. And in 2009, they went back under $3. This was just from mere speculation. As we can see, the gas prices jump a lot just between the different factors. Between the market, what happens after the market, and other factors, it contributes to a high and ever-changing price, the price we see at the pump. And hopefully, knowing all of this, it helps a little bit when you have to go fill up your gas tank.